I'm pretty sure these good leaders, these good coaches, these people that heavily believe in themselves do not have time to be leaking energy and giving a about everything people say. It just doesn't make sense. It does not add up, right? Every great coach I've ever played for did not have time to be giving a about every player on the team. You know who he gave a about? The players that actually put on for the team. Because why? Because it doesn't affect them. Guys, it's your boy Just, man. I'm just here keeping it real with y'all, man. Today's video is gonna be real simple, man. There's one thing, and I mean one thing. It's actually a couple things, but this is one of the biggest factors, right? In order to get successful, right, or at least align with your purpose and make sure that you're on the right track to being successful, you have to have a certain mentality, right? And that mentality includes the following, right? You gotta have drive, you gotta have strong desire, you gotta have faith, and you have to have good attitude. Now, with this good attitude, right, this is what I'm going to focus on in this video, right? Good attitude does not mean like, okay, well, I'm gonna just be jolly and happy all the time. I mean, it's good to be jolly and happy all the time. It does improve the quality of your life, right? Don't get me wrong. But the type of attitude I mean is the attitude of not giving a right? So today's video is gonna be simple as that. You have to master the art of not giving a What if I told you guys that this is what it takes at the next level, right? The most important thing that God has ever awarded us was not just our lives alone, but the energy that comes with it, right? What people do is, right, they self-sabotage their energy, they weaken their energy, they leak it everywhere, you know what I mean? Whether you're entertaining people you're not supposed to be entertaining, whether you're taking part in activities you're not supposed to be taking part in, whether you're literally physically damaging your body on a consistent basis without proper detox or any type of strategy as to what you're doing, right? You're just leaking and wasting energy and wasting energy and wasting energy. Now, why am I talking about energy, right? Energy is important because it's going to be a big factor as to how successful you will be. Think about all the people that are successful, or think about the people you look up to, right? They all have high energy. And if it's not necessarily on some like, you know, they're not crazy, you know what I mean? But they all have high energy and all have high capability of expressing that energy, you know what I mean? So, like, I'm pretty sure every person you know that is successful, right? Or every person you look up to that's successful, they had high energy, right? So having high energy, you have to use it in certain outlets, right? You have to be putting your high energy in productive stuff, like learning new skills, like working on your weaknesses, like fixing your bad habits, keeping good people around you. This is where your energy should be focused, right? Your energy should be focused on God or whatever higher being you believe in to help guide you to live a better quality life, right? This is where your energy should be focused, right? So now you only have but so much energy in the energy tank. And if every time you go outside and you step outside your house, you decide, all right, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, you gotta know that every decision you make either is detrimental to your energy or beneficial for your energy, right? So now I'm gonna get to the point where, why are you talking about energy if you were just saying this is about not giving a fuck, right? Guys, you have to understand one thing. When you give a fuck, you're basically telling the other person, right, that you have control over my energy, my mood, and my day, right? If I was to, right, I'm very big, I'm a person who's very big on respect, right? So it's like, as soon as I see in the slightest bit of disrespect, I check you the first time, and then I do an action the second time. Now, if the action could be leaving the room, the action could be blocking you on the phone or something, the action could be just walking away from you, the action could be, you know, reprimanding you the second time, which I usually do not do, right? But regardless, when I'm doing these things, my energy is leaking, right? If I was to sit here, because I'm so high on like respect, right? If I was to sit here and try to focus on every single tiny little bit of time every time somebody tries to disrespect me, it being the same person, then my energy will continue to leak and leak and leak and leak. I'm not saying, right, when you first meet somebody, you don't let them know what your standard is, and you don't let them know, like, all right, yeah, I'm not going for that shit. But you have to understand, like, you cannot be putting your energy into everything, right? You have but so much in the day, right? Mind you, you're sleeping for 8 hours, hopefully. You know, some of you are sleeping for 5, some of you are sleeping for 4, or maybe even less, which is bad, which you gotta work on. But at the end of the day, you have but so much energy in the tank. You have to have the mindset and the discernment to stop giving about things that don't align with your purpose, right? This is where I go into the part where I talk about dating, right? Not everybody has to like you. That's the truth. The truth is, not everybody has to like you. And for the guys out there that, you know, want to be like very desirable or want to be undeniable, there is always going to be someone out there that does not want you. It's not your mission to be chasing after and trying to convince everybody that you're worth their time and that you're as much value as you say you are, right? So when you have the mindset of not giving a fuck, right, you're basically telling the other person, look, this is who I am. This is who I present myself to be. This is the value that I have. Whether you see it or not, I don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, I'm not attached to the outcome. The one concept that we're gonna have to learn on this channel is detachment. We're gonna have to detach from outcomes. We're gonna have to detach from, you know, people. You're gonna have to learn how to detach from, you know, the way things play out. You know, sometimes not everything is gonna go your way, right? You're on the come up, you're trying to find different ways to get successful, and you're looking for the right resources to use, to put into practice, right? You're using these resources, you're putting it in practice, right? That doesn't mean everything is gonna go your way right away. You feel what I'm saying? Everything is not gonna go your way. So you have to be able to have that mindset that, look, I do not care about the outcome because I know I did the best I could and I gave my best and I put my best foot forward. You know what I mean? When I learned how to detach from outcomes, guys, yo, my life has like evolved. It's been so much better. It's like I'm not expecting, you know, sex when I'm in relationships with females. You know what I mean? I'm literally not. Like, that's the point that's the level I'm at in life. You know what I mean? It's like I've detached so much from outcomes that not expecting certain things has got me certain things. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a reverse type of thing, and you have to be able to develop that type of mindset. So it's like, now that you know how important energy is, right? You're like, so I need high energy to be successful. Now I'm going to be more cautious and more aware of the decisions I make and the things I entertain using my energy, right? Because I have a limited amount every day, right? So this is where not giving up comes into play, right? Because if you have high energy and it's limited, right? You don't have time or energy, because it's limited, to be giving a fuck about every little thing. You feel what I'm saying? There was one time, right? I'm walking with this girl, right? We just came back from the little club party or whatever, right? We was kicking it, whatever. We was having a good time or whatever. And out of nowhere, right? She pushes off of me. I didn't say anything. I didn't step on her feet. I didn't open my mouth. I didn't do no dance move wrong. We was vibing. Everything was fine. Randomly, out of nowhere, just pushes off of me, right? So, you know, me being me, right? I'm like, yo, I know better, man. Why would I ever, you know, entertain this, right? Why would I keep, you know, going along with this? You know, she clearly, for me, wanted the space, so she pushed off of me, right? For no reason. Didn't communicate why, nothing. So you know what I did? I gave her her jacket back, right? And I walked off, and I started going entertaining other girls, putting my energy where, you know, it's actually valued, you know what I mean? And then, you know, after we talked about it, after we got out there, you know, spot or whatever, and then she cleared up as to why she did that and whatever. She was, you know, you could just tell there was something off, right? She thought that she was gonna get that type of reaction out of me, where I was going to waste my energy trying to, you know, ask her what I did wrong or where I was in the wrong. Guys, I don't have enough to give about stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't be having enough fucks to be giving out to everybody, you know? I already care about my family. I already care about my future. I already care about, you know, my friends. How can I be, like all these I'm giving out, think about it, right? I'm giving a damn about all this stuff. I'm just giving out, caring about all this stuff. Why would I keep, where you put your care is where you put your energy, right? So if where I put my focus and care and energy into, why would I ever like put it into something that I know would just drain my energy and it doesn't align with anything I want? You know what I mean? Yeah, I do want, you know, good quality relationships, but what, you think that me like wasting my energy and trying to make things right then and there in that second was the right move to make? No. Why? Because I don't give a right? I don't care if you leave me or not, because eventually you're gonna realize by then, it will probably be too late by then, right? Unfortunately for, you know, some of you girls, right? You realize too late, like, damn, he doesn't really care. So it's like, what, you know, what am I even doing? There's no point of playing games with him because he doesn't care in the first place, right? Guys, there's benefits to not caring, right? What people taught you, right, you know, growing up, right, with all this Disney Channel propaganda and stuff, is that you gotta care about everything, you know, you gotta do this and you gotta do that. You do what you want to do, right? And what you want to do is where I advise you put your energy into. So if you want to put your energy into something you want to be successful in, your energy should not be leaking out and branching off to things that you don't care about, because then you're just wasting it. You're wasting that valuable essence that God gave you, your energy. You know, now that I actually bring up the girl, it was actually funny because we were spending some time together, whatever, right? And we just chilling, you know, laying down or whatever, just chilling or whatever, some cool shit, just chopping it up, right? And we was just like, you know, basically like talking about flaws, I guess. I don't know how that got brought up in the conversation, but we were talking about flaws, I guess. And she, out of nowhere, was like, oh, well, you know, God patched you with your height. If y'all don't know, I'm 5'8", 5'9", right? I'm 5'8" and a half-ish, so I'm just like somewhere around 5'8", 5'9", right? If y'all don't know something about me, right, I'm the last person to ever mention height about, because it doesn't trigger me like the rest of y'all. You feel what I'm saying? The rest of y'all give y'all energy to things y'all can't change and things that don't matter. Like 5'8", 5'9" is, first of all, not even a bad height for a man, right? It's pretty average height. If somebody could go look it up for me, right? It's pretty average height, whatever, right? Regardless of what my height was, you cannot change your height, right? The most you could change your height is what, by what, a couple inches, you know, if you stretch and you eat properly and sleep properly, right, and do a couple things, or unless you take another step and get surgery because you feel super insecure about it, right? But why would I waste my energy like trying to prove myself to this girl about shit I can't change? It doesn't make sense. So I had the mentality in the first place of not giving a I don't care about my height. I don't. You know why? Because girls still mess with me that's shorter. Girls still mess with me that's my height. And there's actually girls that mess with me that's taller than me. Believe it or not, right? So it's like, why would I be giving my energy to something that doesn't matter? You know what I mean? You have to have the discernment to know what and what not to care about. I don't care about my height because I know it cannot be changed. Maybe with some boots, some Timbs, or maybe, you know, with some good stretching the last night. But like, come on, you can't really make that big of a difference in your height at all, for real. So it's like, why would I care? You know what I mean? So you guys gotta just learn the art of like not really, you know, caring or giving a fuck about shit that don't matter, because if you do, you're just leaking your energy and you're just slowing yourself down from being successful. When you're on this channel, right, you're looking for information, you're looking for game, you're looking for resources to get what you want, right? You want to be successful. I know you behind the screen watching this video, you want to be successful, right? So if you want to be successful, you got to know that you got to conserve your energy, right? You have to learn, right? Things you cannot control should not matter to you. And I know it sounds crazy, like, what do you mean it shouldn't matter to me because this is happening to me and this is happening to me? All right, so let's say a tsunami comes and takes down your city, right? And you're like, oh, well, just, what do you mean I can't care? What do you mean? What do you mean I'm not supposed to care? Okay, tell me what you could do about it. Other than run. Tell me what you can do about it, right? Natural disasters, right? You know, prayers go out to all the Caribbean countries that's going through the storms and natural disasters, right? And all around the world, right? But honestly though, really think about it. What can you do, right? Why would I put my care and energy into something I can't change or I can't have an impact or an effect on? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense, which is why I don't care about certain things, right? I'm making the most of what I have with what God gave me. How could I possibly give a fuck about something else? You know what I mean? It's only going to distract me. It's only going to distract me. If I'm out here giving to everybody, it's a distraction. Because you only have a limit. You have a limit, right? That's why we're human. We're human, right? Mundane, right? We're human. We have limits, right? We may program our mind to go past these limits and to strive harder past these limits, but humans have limits, right? One of the limits they have is time. And another big one, guess what? It's care, energy. You have limited amount of energy and you have a limited amount of time. So me knowing I have a limited amount of energy and I have a limited amount of time, why would I be caring about things I cannot control? Make it make sense to me, fellas. Somebody in my comment section below, tell me why I should be caring about stuff I can't control. So now you're at that point where it's like, okay, well, just what are things I can't control? Yo, you wanna know a big one that you guys seem to always care about is people's opinions. I find this hilarious. I find this super hilarious. Go back to that example I gave you of the girl commenting about my height, right? Then the reaction she was expecting out of me, right? And the reaction she didn't get because she realized I didn't care. That was her opinion, right? Why would I care if I have an opinion of my own? This is myself that I'm dealing with, right? Me, myself. This is my life. Remember, this is my life, myself, right? And you're gonna use the same type of thinking for yourself, right? I'm using myself as an example. You're just gonna apply it to yourself. You tell yourself, this is my life. Meaning I control my thoughts, I control my actions. So if I control my thoughts, my actions, this is my life, right? And I know exactly how I view myself and how I look at myself. Why would I care about another person's opinion? It's like somebody coming up to me and telling me, yo, you're skinny. I don't believe that. And I don't care if you think I'm skinny. Because you know what? I know I wake up and go to the gym every day and I go get my gains in. I wish a nigga would try to tell me I'm skinny. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna get the time of day out of me. I'm gonna just walk away, you know? I might even laugh at the nigga, you know what I mean? That's probably the most you're gonna get out of me, like a little laugh. Because not only am I laughing at, like, you know, I'm not only am I laughing at the remark because it just didn't make sense, I'm also laughing because you think I give, you know what I mean? You think I care, you know what I mean? And it's a self-sabotage mindset that a lot of people have that they have to eliminate, right? What do you do when you go out, right? You go out with your mans, right? You ask them, yo bro, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? For what? So y'all can match? If you know that you're going to a certain spot, right? You gotta dress a certain way or whatever, right? Dress how you wanna dress. Why should another man's opinion influence your actions? Why? You know what I mean? You have a mind of your own. You realize everybody has brains of their own. Everyone. So you get to decide what you want to do, how you want to do it, and when you want to do it. So why would you be given about things you cannot control, like people's opinions? Somebody say, oh, well, I remember this one person in my comment section once told me, like, oh, you're You're young. You got a lot of life to experience. You got a lot of life to live. Da 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 da. Right? You like, you know, them just assuming, right? As humans do, like just assume, jump the gun and assume that, like, you know, I haven't been through shit because I'm young, right? Bro, no matter my age, your maturity doesn't determine your age. You know what I mean? I'm more mature for my age because of what I've been through and what I've learned from the things I've been through, right? A lot of you guys have been through the same struggles I've been through, but you just didn't catch your lesson, right? You didn't catch when you were supposed to correct what you were supposed to do, right? I did, which is why, you know, I'm detached from people's opinions. I could really care less how somebody feels about me, like respectfully. You know what I mean? Because I know how I feel about myself. And this all boils down to energy once again, because energy is also, it goes hand in hand with confidence, right? How do you build your confidence? Well, you got to do a lot of inner work on yourself, right? I didn't just wake up and start thinking like, yo, let me just start talking on the camera to people and giving them game. No, I had to learn myself. I had to go through the struggle myself. I had to fail, and build my own story so that I can share with you guys. You know what I mean? But mind you, what did I say just now? My story, my own story, me, meaning me. This is my life. So me knowing that this is my story, my life, and I have opinions of my own, and I know what I've been through, and I know what I've done, right? Why would I ever care about what somebody else has to say? You get what I'm saying? Are you guys following me? Because someone says something to you, you believe it? It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. No, right? You're like, when somebody says something to you, it goes one of two ways. You either subconsciously start checking yourself out and really thinking like, wait a minute. Like, somebody says, oh, Just, your skin's not clear. Wait, what am I supposed to do? What do I do? No, I don't care. I don't care if you think my skin is clear. You know why? Because I know my skin is clear. I feel that way, that my skin is clear. Even if my skin wasn't clear, because I believe that my skin is clear, I shouldn't give a because somebody else thinks my skin not clear. It just doesn't make sense. You cannot be leaking your energy into things that do not matter, like people's opinion. To all my people that play sports, right? To people that knows what it's like and knows the feeling of going into a championship game, right? There's like only a select few amount of people get that type of blessing, get that type of opportunity, right? Luckily, I was one of those people that got that opportunity on multiple occasions to know what a real championship feels like, right? And to really be a part of a championship team, right? Now, when you're in the locker room getting ready for the championship game, right? You know that a championship is what? Do or die, right? This is the last game. This is it, right? But there's one crucial detail that majority of coaches say, because, and I know this for a fact because I've been in multiple locker rooms. I played for multiple teams, right? If you guys don't know, I'm a basketball player, right? So I've played for multiple teams. I've been in multiple locker rooms. I even heard conversations in multiple locker rooms. The coaches always say the same thing. Championship game. Come time, championship game, they always say the same thing. They say, no matter the outcome, right? They always say this, right? And for my ball players, my soccer players, my football players, my swimming athletes, my track athletes, they always say, no matter the outcome, they say, I'm proud of you guys, for me, because we worked hard to get here, and it was about the journey, the process, right? They go over that fluff and just to hype you up and whatever, cool. But focus on the first couple words that they said, no matter the outcome, right? You know why a coach is a coach? Or a good coach is a good coach? Because he's a good leader. Why? Because he believes in himself, right? And I'm pretty sure these good leaders, these good coaches, these people that heavily believe in themselves do not have time to be leaking energy and giving a about everything people say. It just doesn't make sense. It does not add up, right? Every great coach I've ever played for did not have time to be giving a about every player on the team. You know who he gave a about? The players that actually put on for the team. Because why? Because it doesn't affect them. If something really can't affect you, or if it does affect you and you can't control it, Your head should not be spinning and you're losing your mind and you're getting depression and anxiety and all these other symptoms and side effects you get with panicking because of something you can't control. You have to learn how to stop giving a f about shit you can't control. It's stopping you from your success. It really is. Like, and like, honestly, like, for most people, they have what it takes. A lot of you have the potential. You have what it takes. I see it. I see the drive. I see the mentality. I see the faith you have in yourself. But at the same time, you don't realize, like, yo, you're leaking your energy everywhere. This is why you're not getting over that gap. This is why you're not closing that gap. This is why you're stuck on level 2 when you really want to be at level 3, level 4, level 5, because you haven't learned the art of not giving a f about things you can't control, man. How could I give a f about my height? How could I give a f about somebody's opinion? You know what I mean? How dare I? That's sabotage to myself, right? That's me taking the energy I have, right? This is my energy bar. And I used it in the morning for the gym. I used it to drive to school. I used it to pay attention in school. I used it to have conversations with people, beneficial, good conversations, right? Just because it's good, just because it's beneficial, doesn't mean I didn't use my energy for it, so my energy still went down. Now look, I use my energy on my work, schoolwork, whatever. I use my energy on content creation. I use my energy on working on my craft, right? Wait, look at that. Wait, look at that. The meter's about this. Let me just move it over here so you guys can see it, right? I went even further down, but you guys get the gist, right? Your meter of energy just keeps going down and 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 down, right, throughout the day. So if you keep spreading and distributing your energy out to things that you cannot control, you are stopping yourself and limiting yourself even more. Because remember what I told you guys, humans already have a limit. We're human. We're mundane. We already have a limit itself because we have limits in time and we have limits in energy. So you already have a limit and you're trying to get somewhere. You're trying to be successful. Why would you limit yourself even more? Why would you limit your capability even more? Why would you limit your potential even more of obtaining that thing you want, right? Think about the times where you was trying to bang that chick, right? For my guys out there, right? Think about the easiest times it was for you. The easiest times was not when you really wanted that girl and you really wanted, like, when you, like, that is not when you was successful. You feel what I'm saying? You were trying to get that girl, right? When was you successful? When you cared less? When it's a girl you don't even like back? That's when she's on your body, right? That's when she's giving you all the energy that you're wanting from these girls that you want, right? But no, you rather self-sabotage and chase the girls that don't want you. You rather try to change their mind and convince them and change their opinion on you. Things you can't change. Only they can, right? Think about it. Things you can't change. You can't change somebody's mind. They have to want to change it themselves. You got to really think about it. When people have a dilemma or whatever and they ask me for advice, I tell them, look, when you have a dilemma, right? It's like when people talk to me, right, and they're asking me for advice, the first thing I always ask them is, look, are you gonna value what I'm telling you and actually put it into practice and actually put it into action? Or should I save my time, save my energy, save my breath? You know why? I always say this because it's like if I keep rambling and talking to somebody who doesn't really want the help, who may just want to vent and may just want to, stay where they're at without actually making a difference, then I'm now wasting my energy because I've been entertained what you got going on. But me knowing better, right? Me knowing better, I can't give a f about something like that. I can't. You know what I mean? And there's gonna be people that think like, okay, this is a selfish mindset. You only care about yourself. it's not always bad to be selfish, guys. I know when you grew up, people told you like selfish behavior is like was looked down upon. In most circumstances, selfish behavior is looked down upon and frowned upon because yes, it is messed up sometimes when you're moving selfish and you're not considering other people, right? But there's times where it's important to be selfish, and it's important for you to turn on your thinking cap and realize, I can't change their mind. I have zero control over this. There's nothing I can physically do to change this. So I can't give a fuck. Think about it, guys. It makes sense when you really break it down. You know what I mean? Everybody told you growing up, oh, don't be selfish. Don't do this, don't do that. But they didn't tell you like sometimes like some of these ideologies and habits and you know, mentalities you have will be crucial to your success. Everybody who was successful had at least a little bit of selfishness. You know what I mean? It's not all bad. Sometimes it's good to be a little bit selfish. You feel what I'm saying? Because that way you're thinking for yourself. You're thinking, I'm trying to get here and I'm trying to get there, right? Wait a minute. This girl, you know, having her opinion towards me is not ever going to align with what I want. This is what I want, and this is me, and I have to align with what I want. You think that like anybody's opinion is going to really waver like the track of alignment to success? No, not unless you let it. Not unless you care. Not unless you give a fuck. That's the point, guys. You can't give a fuck. You can't. Right? I'm yelling because I'm passionate about this shit. I care about this shit. I care about not telling you guys to give a fuck. You get what I'm saying? Because I know it will make a difference. I know it's impactful that everybody learns this concept because it will help other people get this type of mindset. It will help other people get to where they want to be, right? That's my goal. That's my mission on this channel, right? If you read the bio description of this channel, it says, I help men strive, transform, achieve, and rise. For the people that don't know, that's the acronym for STAR. That's what I stand for. I'm STAR. I'm Big Star. I'm Mr. SSO. I'm SSO. Star shit only, right? Strive, transform, achieve, and rise. You want to do all these things, right? I want to do all these things. We want to do all these things. We're like-minded people. That's why you're watching me right now, right? Because something in your mind told you that, look, I agree with what he's saying, right? His mindset makes sense because it's kind of the mindset I have for myself as well, right? So if I'm telling you guys, right, one of the best things you could do for yourself is learn to not give a fuck. It is. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying stop giving a fuck about your appearance. I'm not saying stop giving a fuck about your grades in school. I'm not saying stop giving a fuck about your family. I'm saying stop giving a fuck about things that don't matter. Things you can't control. You can't control it. Stop giving a fuck. I don't care if the John like me. I don't. Because I know that I don't control if the John like me or not. I do, at the end of the day, I know I do my job, right? I do my job to make myself as most desirable as possible, right? I'm fit. I'm healthy. I dress clean. I look clean. I smell clean, right? Now, me being all these things, it puts me on a certain level, right? Because I did these things for myself, right? Now, if one girl I happen to come across my journey does not value that stuff, why am I losing my mind over it? Why? Remember, you cannot control whether or not she jacks you, gang. The best you could do is present your best self and keep being real, keep being you. That's the best you could do. You know, it's a little hot in this mug, right? Because I'm over here yelling and shit, right? It's hot in here, right? But it's like, seriously, guys, like seriously, You have to learn how to stop giving a fuck, man. So it's like, I'm glad you guys continue to show support for these type of vids, because it shows me that, like, all right, you're doing something right. You know what I mean? So if you enjoyed this vid and this vid impacted you, or it influenced you, or, you know, it just made a difference or a little bit of tweak with your thinking, I want you to share this to your mans, share this to your homegirl, share this to your uncle, share this to your friend, someone who needs it. You know what I mean? Someone who's just a little too caring and allowing that to stop them from their success, right? The most successful people in the world, guys, are not the ones who cared the most. It's the ones who directed their care and their energy into things that actually mattered, or things that mattered to them, right? Because not everybody's definition of success is their definition of success. Some people want money, clothes, cars, whatever, and you call that success. Others want family, and whatever you consider success, right? Whatever you consider your purpose or your goals, your passion, or whatever you're driving and striving to do, right? You have to understand, like, look, the decisions I make should be aligning with that. And when I continue to live out my life and things start to play out, I have to understand that I cannot be giving a fuck about everything on this journey. You know what I'm saying? And if you understood that concept, man, and if you agree with what I'm saying, man, give this video a like, man. As usual, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. I'm just keeping it real here, man. Stars up and stars out.